Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm LJ if you're new to my channel. So today we're doing a cut crease eyeshadow tutorial for beginners. Those of you guys who want to learn how to do a cut crease makeup look, something very simple. We're playing with 4 eyeshadow shades today. So 2 mattes, 2 shimmers, super easy. I feel like this is the simplest cut crease makeup tutorial I can create. I'm gonna go into detail about how to cut the crease and how to blend and everything like that. So if you're interested in seeing this video, keep on watching. But if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and join the LJ family. Hit the bell so you're always notified of a new upload. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
LJ, welcome to a channel where it's popping. Welcome to a YouTube.
Alright, so I'm back with another eyeshadow tutorial. This time it's a cut crease makeup look. So I'm going to be doing a very soft cut crease makeup look just because I feel like as a beginner you don't really need to be playing with like bright colors, especially if you're not comfortable yet, and especially if you're just learning, you know. So the palette that I'm going to be using is of course one of my favorite palettes. This is the Tardiest Pro palette. So you have a lot of matte eyeshadow shades and 4 shimmers within this palette. So for today's eyeshadow look, I'm going to be using 2 different types of brushes. So I'm going to be using this blending brush, which is the M506 brush by Morphe. If you guys have watched my previous eyeshadow tutorials or eyeshadow videos, I always use this brush for my eyes. However, if you have bigger eyelids, I would definitely say use a bigger fluffy brush such as this. This is the Morphe M441 brush. So smaller eyelids, bigger eyelids. These are the 2 blending brushes that I like to use. And then to cut your crease, for smaller eyelids, I would say use the Morphe M124 brush, which is just a smaller brush for smaller eyelids. So if you have little to no eyelid space, it's better for you to use this brush because it's very small and precise. And if you have bigger eyelids, I would definitely say use the Morphe M224 brush, which is much bigger for bigger eyelid space because it definitely helps cut the crease. If you have a bigger eyelid space, you definitely don't want to use a smaller brush for bigger eyelids because it's going to take you forever to cut that crease. So you might as well go in with a bigger brush. Alright, so before applying any eyeshadow, I usually like to get rid of the creasing on my eyelids. So I'm just using this Real Techniques brush. And this is the brush that I use to apply this base. So I do have an eyeshadow base and it is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. For your eyelid base, you can definitely use a concealer. You can use an eyeshadow base, just something that is tacky and sticky to get the eyeshadow to stick on there. It's basically like a primer. So usually the first shade that I usually go in with is usually a shade that is going to be the lightest matte eyeshadow shade that I'm going to place on my eyelids. But the shade is usually darker than my skin tone so that it actually shows up. So the shade that I'm going to go in with is the shade Mod, and I'm using that M506 brush. I'm dusting off the excess, and what I like to do of course is start on the outer portion usually and then kind of like build your way up towards the inner portion. And with this shadow, I'm focusing it mainly on my crease area, and as you guys can see, it's dark enough. Okay, it's super rich, so it shows up on my skin really well, but it will be the lightest shade that I will be using on my crease. And with cut creases, what I like to do is I like to bring the pigmentation all the way till the inner portion of my eye. Because we are going to be cutting the crease on there, you want to make sure that the eyeshadow is also saturated around that area. So typically without cut creases, I usually would fade it towards going the inner portion, but for cut creases I make sure the pigmentation of the outer portion and inner portion are the same, and whatever is left on the brush, I just like to blend the eyeshadow shade out. Whenever you're doing your eyeshadow, you always want to make sure that you're going in with clean eyeshadow brushes. So I'm going in with another brush, but this one is a clean one. So I'm dipping into the shade Drama, which is kind of like a deep burgundy shade. It's very similar to this shade I applied here, but it's darker. So with this shade, I like to focus mainly on the inner portion. So I'm just packing that eyeshadow on there. And if you have that creasing on your eye, what I would recommend is just kind of like pulling your eyelids down a little bit to make sure to get the pigmentation in the crease area. Or another thing you can do is go in with a smaller brush. So this is the Morphe M507 brush. So it's similar to the M506, but it's a smaller version of the M506. So what you can do is you can also use this to pack on the eyeshadow within that crease area. And of course, we're also focusing the pigmentation on the inner portion. Make sure it's nice and saturated. And then once you do that, you just go back in with the M506 brush and you blend it out. Everything about eyeshadow is blending, so if you take your time to blend your eyeshadow, it comes out better. Then what you want to do is go back in with that first shade, and you just want to use that shade to blend out both of these shadows together so you don't see any harsh lines. And if you feel like you've completely blended out that first eyeshadow shade, what you want to do is you want to go back in with the M507 brush and just kind of pack that on your crease area. Alright, so that is it for the transition shade. So we're going to move on to the shimmer eyeshadow. To cut the crease, I like using an eyeshadow base. One of my favorite eyeshadow base is the Louise eyeshadow base. I know if you guys have been watching me for like years, you guys have seen me use this all the time in my cut creases. I feel like this is a very good eyeshadow base. It's very similar to concealer and it's tacky enough to really grip the eyeshadow and make it stick to your eyelid. But if you're looking for an affordable option for an eyeshadow primer, I would definitely say this NYX Professional Makeup eyeshadow base is also a really good one. This one is not similar to concealer. It doesn't have the same color as concealer like the P. Louise one, but it's still a good eyeshadow primer. I feel like it is also tacky enough to grip on the eyeshadow and it's very easy to apply. So in today's video, I'm going to be using the P. Louise eyeshadow base. So what I do is I place the eyeshadow base at the back of my hand like that, and then taking the flat brush, you just kind of want to apply a little bit. And what you want to do is you want to place the base like right in the middle of your eyes on the lower portion. And then what I like to do is I like to look up, look around. So right where the eyeshadow base touches my crease area, that is the line that I like to follow to cut my crease. So I like to start on the inner portion, and I really love this base because it's pigmented enough. So if you're going in with dark eyeshadow shades, it will definitely cancel out the darkness. So with cutting my crease, I like to go above my crease. So as you guys can see, my crease stops right here, but I like to go above it just because I feel like it just looks better that way. It gets the eyeshadow to show more rather than me just cutting a really small piece of my eyelid area. I like to make it look like it's bigger than it really is, and that's why I really love cut creases, because they kind of make my eyes pop a little bit more. I like to stop right where my eye stops right there. If I'm going in with shimmer eyeshadow, I like to apply the shimmer eyeshadow when the base is still a little bit tacky. But if you're gonna go in with a matte eyeshadow, I would say let the eyeshadow dry a little bit, just so that you're not mixing the product of the eyeshadow base with the matte eyeshadow. All right, so the first shadow I'm gonna go in with is this super bright champagne shade. It is called Glam, and I'm gonna place that on the inner portion of my eyes. Because the eyeshadow base is very tacky, all I have to do is just place it on there. I don't have to move the brush like back and forth to get the pigmentation to show. I'm just literally placing that shimmer shade on top of the base. So I'm stopping this eyeshadow shade right here because I'm going in with a different shade on the outer portion. So I'm going to use this shade called Minx, and I'm going to place that on this outer portion. So with cut creases, what I like to do is I like to use two different shades just because I feel like it gives you that nice transition. So the inner portion, I like to go in with a super bright shade, and then on the outer portion, I like to go in with something that's a little bit more subtle, a little bit more darker. And I'm mixing and blending it together with this inner portion shade. So I'm bringing it a little bit towards the middle so that both of them blend together. Kind of giving it a nice faded look, and then going back in with that deep burgundy shade, I'm going to blend these two shades together so you don't see any harsh lines, you don't see anything looking funny, everything looks blended. Alright, so I went ahead and caught up this eye, so I basically did the same thing. Next is time to work on the under eye, and I'm basically going to be doing the same thing that I do for all my eyeshadows. So basically what I'm doing is I'm using the same shades that I used on the transition area and just buffing it under my eye. This is something that I do all the time, and I feel like it's perfect with all types of eyeshadow looks. So I'm using a very small brush. You can use a size of a brush that is perfect for your under eye, because I know some people have bigger under eyes, smaller under eyes. I'm using this very small Morphe brush, and I'm just kind of going in with that first shade, which is that mauve shade, and I'm just buffing that right at the bottom. I like to also bring this shade towards the upper part and just kind of blend both of those shades together. So starting from right here where the eyeshadows meet, I just kind of like to pack that and then blend it. And then whatever's left on the brush, I like to just bring this towards the inner portion, just so that it looks nice and faded. Then I'm gonna go in with the shade Drama, which is that dark burgundy shade. And I'm focusing this right on my waterline area. And then going back in with that first shadow, I'm just gonna blend those two together. And then next I'm going to use eyeliner. I'm using the Maybelline Master Precise eyeliner. I love this eyeliner because it's very affordable and it's a really good felt tip eyeliner. So what I'm doing is I'm just lining my lash line. I'm not creating a thick line just because with cut creases, I really like that cut crease to show on my eyes. Alright, so I'm stopping this liner like right where my eyes end. I'm not winging it out or anything like that because I want to keep it very simple. Alright, then for mascara, I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty Full Frontal Mascara. I'm going to place this on my lashes before applying lashes. Alright, so that is it for this tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and complete this eye, put on my lashes, finish off my makeup look, and I'll be back with the final look. Alright guys, so this is the final look of this video. I hope you guys learned a few things about cut creases. I wanted to do this video because I've done smoky eyeshadow tutorial for beginners, and it's been a while I've done a cut crease. I think it's been like almost 3 months since I did one, but you know, I wanted to create one for beginners who are looking to learn how to do a cut crease makeup look. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and join the LJ family. Hit the bell so you're always notified of a new upload. But other than that, I will see you guys in my next video.
KLJ, welcome to a channel where it's poppin'. You better subscribe, got it on lock, yeah. Got it on lock, yeah. We need more likes, more views, yeah. You can leave a comment too. Welcome to our YouTube. Welcome to our YouTube.